The claws, I finished roughing them out. I still have to do some texturing and things on them and some final cleanup, but I can't do much more until I get the flags below the shield. Up in here it's too high. This is in the way. This is in the way. So this has to be below that before I can finish up that area. And then I got to remove a lot on the shield to make it curve down. So I'm going to start over here with this flag, and I'm going to get it below the shield here and get this roughed out into the shape that it should be before I start doing the details on there. So I'm going to start with that, and this is a number 335. It's got too much of a curve to it, so this is a number 2. I've already taken out a little bit with a V-tool, so it's safe for me to make a stop cut. And I'm using 5. Again. This here is pretty close to where I'm going to be. So these flags, they start out high up on the top, and they taper down to underneath the shield. I have a lot of material to remove. I'm going to taper this down, so I'm switching to the number 9. So the flag tapers from here to here. It's real easy to get a bow in it because you're usually tempted to cut it as fast as possible. But I want it nice and straight, so I'm going to take this and line it up here from the out part of this to where I want it here. And then I have a line to cut to That'll be nice and straight. This area down here is going to end up being much lower because once I start shaping this shield, the shield's going to curve down here. So this will have to be lowered down to match that. And then on this area, this is the staff or the flagpole. That's behind, that came from this other side flag. That's going to be behind this flag. So I'm going to draw a line, carve that down to that line, and that'll help me figure out where the flag's going to be. So I'm making that about 3/4 of an inch. And there's plenty of meat here. I don't have to worry about chipping something out. So I'm just going to go right with the stop button. This is a big 40mm number 1. So this is nice and straight now. This has to roll. It's going to roll. This will be a nice round 3/4 inch radius about here, and it's going to tuck down behind the wing. Here. Sorry if the camera's not catching stuff. I'm not a video maker. I don't have time to spend a lot of time with the cameras and stuff to carve. This area here, I'm gonna roll this way here. It's 2 inches thick right here. So what I'm gonna do is take my number 1 and get sound of a very sharp chisel. Much better down here. Okay. So that's pretty much roughed out. This is going to go underneath this. That's going to come down here. So what they've done is they've taken the flag, rolled it under this way, and brought it out around here. So now you see why I didn't get too carried away with making this perfectly level, because this is going to get lowered now quite a bit to go underneath this fold. This is going to have a little roll here. This is going to be tucked underneath there. And just make a undercut a little bit just to get a little shadow. But for now, this doesn't need to be that deep. There's going to be a lot going on in here too, so I'm not going to get too carried away with smoothing this out. Alright, I've got this flag about as far as I want to take it right now. Everything's smoothed out, we got a nice rounded end. I won't bore you with doing the other one, so I'll do that and I'll be back and we'll move on to something else.